So today we are going to talk about some of the worst silver purchases you can make, and even some that I made myself. Hopefully I can save you the trouble. Now, before you are some of my worst silver purchases. Not necessarily for the reasons you might think, not necessarily questions of value or overpaying necessarily, but they all have different reasons why they're on the list. Now, first and foremost, these are all just my opinion, but definitely in hindsight, things that I could have done better. Now, the first thing that I would say is one of the dumbest silver purchases that kind of thought it was a good idea at the time, but really didn't work out that way. These guys, the silver collectible sets. Now, there's different versions of these. The Mint puts out these, collectible series. Some of them have silver content, some of them don't. So even within these, you got to be careful. These ones do, which is nice. But even that being said, these really don't have much of a market. I mean, these are kind of like the things that the coin shops try to get rid of at a moment's notice, which is where I got mine. I thought it looked pretty cool, and there is something to it. Let's be honest. I mean, I like collecting. I like coins. I like Americana. So there is value there to me. But is it worth, really being a part of your stack? For me, no. It's probably a mistake. And I don't even remember how much I paid. But I'm pretty sure I did overpay, especially since I bought this, sometime in 2020. So probably near the peak of silver prices. So this was definitely on the list. Secondly, again, we're all guilty of it. You walk into the coin shop, depending on your coin shop. Some of them, I don't understand how coin shops these days are like appointment only. That's like, really? Appointment only for a coin shop? Come on, you're better than that. We don't need appointments to go to the coin shop. But some of them are, which kind of takes away, in my opinion, from the whole, awesomeness of going to the coin shop. I like being able to walk in and kind of see, the lineup and just peruse everything. I don't like to, have to go in there. If I'm going to go in with a specific purchase in mind, I might as well buy it from a bullion dealer. It takes away all the fun of kind of, the coin shop itself. It takes away the whole purpose. But this next one was definitely kind of an impulse buy. And it was kind of, I would say, on one of my worst purchases for a specific reason. And it's this guy. So this guy here, I saw in the coin shop, I was looking, I didn't see anything that really stuck out to me as far as like being, terribly awesome. And I saw this in the display. Now, pretty cool thing, got a nice weight to it. It looked cool. And I was like, you know what, this is kind of cool. Like that could be something I can use, in my videos, kind of on the sidelines. But here's where it became a mistake. I didn't even check before I bought it to make sure it had silver content. I assumed that it had silver content because it was in the display case, but that isn't necessarily the case. So even though, I obviously don't regret this purchase, it's definitely got to go in the list of worst purchases that I've made. And again, that's something that I think can happen to a lot of people. You go into the coin shop, you're in the area, let's say, and you just decide, hey, I'm going to pop my head in and see what they got. And you don't even take the time to really check what it is you're buying. You assume that, it's going to be what you think it is. So again, take your time. Take your time, think about it, look at it, explore. Now next, as you can see on the outside, a lot of kookaburras, a lot of the higher premium stuff. I don't really regret any of that. And surprisingly, again, I've said it a couple times, this is actually one of my favorite coins here, or Perth pieces. Really nice. It's actually a pretty simple design, kookaburra, but I really like it. It's got a lot of like detail to it, simple, classic design. One of my favorites. But the next one on the list was partially caused by Silverstruck. Yes, Silverstruck, I'm calling you out. This is your fault that this happened. I purchased these guys, the JM Bullion bars, individual bars, which these are pretty cool, but the price was insane. And this guy here, which is a pretty common Engelhard bar. Now, all things considered, I like this bar a lot because of the stamping on it. It's pretty nice, like the embossing on the back of it. Now this part's pretty straightforward, pretty, run of the mill. But this part is what really sold me. Now the problem is, I definitely overpaid for this. I think I paid $350 during 2020 for this. Something like that. I don't remember exactly. but I know that I probably shouldn't have jumped on it. And the reason I did is because Silverstruck sold me on Engelhard. I was like, you know what? They do make pretty nice pieces. They're not making any more of them, so let me get my hands on some. So I walked right into it. The coin shop knew they had me. I was actually looking at a more unique, it looked poured piece from Engelhard. It was like a pill. It looked like a bar of soap. And I almost bought that one, but that one was like $800, and it was like, it was kind of a, I don't think it was a set amount of ounces. It was like an off amount. It was like a 5.5 or no, like a 10.5 or something like that ounce bar. But I was like, really, am I going to pay $80 an ounce for, you know, for silver? I was like, you know, I'm not that crazy. I was like, I'll go with this. And I liked it. I don't regret it. But I do regret that I didn't, you know, stop myself from, you know, potentially overpaying for something that, you know, is actually fairly common as far as Engelhards go. Now, some of the other purchases I have, I mean, I would say that these guys over here are probably on, you know, the worst purchase list as far as I saw them there, and I've never really experienced, is it an experience? I've never really had, you know, foreign junk silver. So these are actually pretty nice. This is Canadian junk silver. And if you can see it, it's pretty good. It's got some nice detail to it. It's got a lot of, you know, a lot going for it. But at the end of the day, it's all junk silver. I got a lot of the geese and the First Nation coins. These guys. Let's see over here. Oh wow, this is like kind of a mixed bag. It's the great part about surprising yourself with your silver. But the First Nation coins. This guy over here is obviously different. That's a British coin, I believe. No, it's Canadian. It has to be. Yeah, it is. It's Canada. But these guys, I bought probably 4 tubes of the old geese and First Nation. Now, I think I got them at a pretty good price, but I realize in hindsight that they really don't fit with my stack very much. They're kind of like a, you know, somewhat of a novelty. And so, you know, it is what it is. Now, one of my other vices, if you've seen this channel long enough, is American eagles, particularly reverse proof eagles. Now, the ones that got me into this was the just regular proof eagle. That was actually one of my favorite coins until I saw the reverse proof, and I was like, oh, the reverse proof's way better. So these guys are definitely my poison, but you know, to each their own. I mean, that's part of the thing with stacking. These guys too, the Incuse maple, it's kind of hard. Like if you saw this, you really wouldn't, you'd probably think it's just a maple, but it's not. It is an Incuse maple. These guys are also among my favorites. So I've got a lot of, you know, things that I like, or at least a taste for the finer things as far as regular silver. And it's definitely not always the best thing. It doesn't always serve your, you know, your best interest. But I think, you know, as with anybody, you know, there's always going to be things that you look back and you're like, I probably shouldn't have bought that, or at least not the way that I did. That's my, you know, that's my flaw. What are yours?